to the greatest.
Hey, you know JayRay got girls here going way.
I forgot it was Pettit. So no last name?
You could say Pettit.
All right. I'm here with Lainey.
Hi.
On like the 12th episode of Real Talk Radio. I don't really do intros. They're like corny to me. Like, welcome back to another episode of Real Talk Radio.
Guys.
Yeah, there you go. This is Lainey.
Hi.
I don't know. That's how I don't do intros.
That's who I am.
We're going to get into it. So today, got a couple of topics I want to hit.
You gotta let me know them.
Yeah, okay, I'm going to introduce the first one. So the first one is, we reported it on Wake Up with JayRay and AB on Z98.7 FM. Y'all check that out. We talked about it on our news report. I've been trying to talk about this on the podcast for a minute because it would be very... Basically, I would get the backlash that Don Lemon got when he talked about women by himself. Well, he wasn't by himself. He was with women. But
no, you're scaring me.
Yeah, okay. So let me break it down. So Don Lemon went on CNN a month ago or a couple weeks ago, right? And he was talking about women in their prime. But that's the thing. He really wasn't talking about women in prime, but he was talking about women in their prime. That makes sense.
Okay.
So the gist of what he was saying was, well, I got the video.
Okay.
I'll let you listen to it. But basically, he got backlash for it. That's what I want to talk about. He got backlash for it, and I feel like this is something we need to talk about because this generation in time, we're getting too sensitive and everything, and it's ruining the news, comedy, TV shows. It's ruining everything. Yeah. So I'll let you listen and watch, and then y'all can look it up. But Lainey will watch and listen at the same time.
All the talk about age makes me uncomfortable. I think it's the wrong road to go down. She says people, politicians or something are not in their prime. Nikki Haley isn't in her prime. Sorry. When a woman is considered to be in her prime in her 20s and 30s and maybe 40s.
What are you talking? Wait.
That's not according to me.
Prime for what?
It depends. I mean, it's just like prime. If you look it up, if you Google when is a woman in her prime, it'll say 20s, 30s, and 40s. I don't necessarily.
40s. Oh, I got another.
I'm not saying
decade.
I agree with that. So I think she has to be careful about saying that politicians aren't in their prime.
We need to qualify. Are you talking about prime for like childbearing, or are you talking about prime for being president?
What the facts are. Google it. Everybody at home. When is a woman in her prime? It says 20s, 30s, and 40s. And I'm just saying Nikki Haley should be careful about saying that politicians are not in their prime and they need to be in their prime when they serve, because she wouldn't be in her prime according to
Google
or whatever it is.
All right. So do you want me to go first? Well, let me give them a background, give you a little bit of background. So obviously he was talking about Nikki Haley, who's a politician. I don't know what she's running for, governor, Senate, but she's a...
Sounds like something important.
Yeah, she's something important, politician running for. Obviously, he's opposed of her.
Yeah.
He doesn't believe she should be running for whatever she's running for. So obviously, he has an opinion that he put out there, kind of took shots. But and he got backlash for this, saying what y'all just heard. And he got backlash for it from the people. I think CNN had took him off the air for a couple of days. And he had to make an apology. But, do you want to start off?
Well, I mean, I think the first thing that could, clarify or, give him some, I don't know, something is identifying what prime means. Because, I mean, in just any circumstance, I think prime is subjective to anybody in anything. Because, I mean, he's saying that, I've never been in my prime in, that context because I'm only 18.
Yeah.
And, which, I mean, that's probably true. I hope that's true. Because I hope I haven't, peaked or done my best yet. But I think that's definitely something that we could have benefited from. If he was, prime for anybody is, when they're socially at their best or, at the highest they can be at. Or, I don't know, working-wise, they're at their highest that they have reached.
Flags. Okay. It's my turn.
Yeah, I mean, go for it.
Because I'm about to go on a soliloquy.
You go for it. I'll tell you what I think.
What's the opposite of oh no, I'm not a misogynist or chauvinist. I'm
a feminist.
No, I'm a maninist. All right.
A maninist.
I'm a maninist. I'm about to defend. I'm on his side. Okay, so I totally understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
That he needed to clarify what prime, but I think everybody knows what prime is. He got backlash for it, so everybody knows what prime is.
Yeah.
I think what people took out of context was he said multiple times that he doesn't agree with the research, right? Well, let's start from the beginning.
Okay.
So, let's start from the beginning. So he said Nikki Haley said that the people in power right now, whoever she's running against or she's trying to take their spot, are not in their prime. That's the point he was trying to make. And people, I'm trying not to like go everywhere because so many things I want to hit. So let's start with there. First of all, people, let's listen, okay? I'm starting to believe, there's this comedian, I listen to his podcast a lot. And a lot of men say this, though, that women, sometimes when they don't listen, not all, and I don't believe in this, but I'm starting to believe in it now, that some women deal in emotion and, what was it? It was emotion and something else and not in reality and logic. They don't react. They react in emotion and something else and not logic and reality. People. I understand he used the word women in prime in the same sentence. That's almost like a self-suicide in this entertainment business or whatever you want to say.
Okay.
But listen to the words in between, people. He literally said Nikki Haley said it first, right? And he's basically saying if she said it, but if you look up the definition of prime, he said it, what he said, 30, during 30s and 40s or 20s and 40s?
Like 20, 30, 40.
He said if you look it up on Google, and he literally said, I don't necessarily agree with it, but if she's going to use those terms, like she used the word prime.
Yeah.
And he in the research in Google, it's like almost using a word and trying to define what the definition of it is.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna use it, know it. That's basically what saying. If you're gonna use the word, know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So basically, she wasn't in her prime.
Criteria behind it.
Yes. So that's all he was saying. People took it as this nigga. I mean, oh God, sorry, Dad. He said, get a little hot in here. He said women in their prime, according to Google, is between 20 and 40.
Okay.
He didn't say Nikki Haley wasn't in her prime. He didn't say women weren't in their prime if they're not between 20 and 40. He said, according to Google, which Nikki Haley used the word to say that other politicians are not in their prime. So I think we need to the whole gist of it to me is we need to get out of this pick me. I want to say, what's the word for it? When people nitpick at certain words, like they don't listen to the whole overall thing and don't try to get the overall message.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it's not that important because
just like
it was
closed off and like not being open to what they're saying.
Yeah. So I feel like I got that off my chest a little bit.
Well, I guess my question is more like, do you disagree with what he's saying and the content of what he's saying, or do you disagree with the backlash he received for what he said?
I disagree with the backlash. He's not saying it's like what you said. Like I totally agree with you when you say prime is subjective. Because if it was me, like from what I've seen, like as far as my life, and you know, if I look back at it, I would say my prime is probably my 18 through 20s. I feel like an old man now. I just went to play basketball yesterday, and I haven't played basketball in like 6 months, and now my whole body just feels terrible right now.
Yeah.
Bones cracking. I couldn't even wake up this morning. I didn't go to no classes. I literally I woke up around like 3 o'clock. So, like you said, prime is subjective. So I'm just mad at the backlash that he got for it, because people were making it out to like he was attacking women, and that's really not what he was doing. He was low-key attacking Nikki Haley, but he was using facts, and he actually had a really good argument. If that was like a great debate thing or something like that, that was a really good argument.
I think just the main problem that people probably had with it was the generalization. It's dangerous to make such broad statements about such a, like, I mean, in this instance, like, theoretically 50% of all population to classify them as something based on, you know, like a Google search. Because regardless of what you're saying, if you're just going to say, look at Google, like that's not a source. You can't source something from Google. Because if you Google anything just right, you're going to get what you're looking for.
I agree. But I think he was just trying to make a point. It's almost like if you use the word, I saw something in an article the other day. It was like some lady used "fo shizzle my nizzle." It was a white lady. She used it on the news, and she got backlash for it. And again, I think it's subjective to, like, because I'm black, and I think "fo shizzle." I didn't look up the word, but I think I can kind of guess what it means. Yeah. Like what nizzle means. But in a sense, for us, it didn't mean that. It doesn't. I don't know. Actually, I really don't know. But I know it's kind of like slang, like "fo shizzle my," like for sure, like we agree, or like it's cool. I think when she used it, other people probably saw it as like she was trying to get around a way to use a slur. Yeah. In a way, I think like I said, it's subjective. But again, I can use that against her, or I can be on her side because it's two ways to it.
So basically, what you're saying is you just don't agree with the ability of like an audience to attack somebody based on like such a small portion of what they're saying.
Yes, and not listening to the whole thing.
That's so valid. And that's incredibly valid.
And this has been going on for years. Like when I told you before we started recording, this has obviously ruined television. It's ruined comedy, which I am a big fan of. Mm-hmm. I'll give you a perfect example. Let's see how I want to break it down. So have you ever watched like old, I'm pretty sure you probably haven't, like old comedy stand-up?
Some of it.
Yeah. Do you watch Dave Chappelle?
I have watched Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, I haven't watched Dave Chappelle. But I've heard like ever since he started, he's like raw. He touches on everything. Yeah. And he's very like...
A lot of old-timey comedians.
Yeah, it's like a lot of it is offensive. Like back then, comedy wasn't offensive. And I think people miss the point of why and again, it's subjective how you take it. Mm-hmm. But when you touch on politics, race, women, gender, some other...
Anything that
realistic topics,
could be controversial.
Yeah, there you go. Controversial topics. In the words of Ari Spears, he said it perfectly. Comedy needed that in life because it was the only time. It's kind of the only time we can talk about these issues. Yeah. And that's sad. But but on the other side of it, you can also make light of something bad. I think that's the two things common. Because if we wanted to just if those people that went to those comedy stand-up shows, if you took them all in a room and it was just like, can we have this conversation about race? Nobody want to have it. That's why we have all the issues we have today, because nobody wants to sit down and talk about it. For like stand-up, for what it used to be was, we could have these conversations and laugh about it at the same time. Like it's not that much tension in the room because of the comedy aura of it. Nowadays... Again, people nitpick just like they did with Don Lemon, and it's ruining comedy. And now people are getting to the point where they're ruining comedy to a point and this is the point I was trying to make. Kevin Hart, I think he was supposed to host the Emmys a couple years ago, right? Mm-hmm. And they went back, and you're familiar with this digital footprint. Yeah. They went back and found something that he said about the LGBT. What was it? LGBTQI now plus community. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he said something about them, right? But this was like years ago. Fast forward, we're like 10 years past, and he's about to host the Emmys. So it comes back, it resurfaces or whatever, and everybody's on his case, blah, blah, blah. And not to mention he apologized back then, like right after he made the tweet, he apologized for it. The Emmys or whatever awards ceremony they wanted him to apologize again. And I respect him for this 1,000% that he declined, he refused to apologize again, and then he just didn't host the Emmys.
Yeah. I definitely agree, because it sounds like you're making the point that cancel culture is stupid. Cancel culture, I completely agree with that. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. But I also think that as people with platforms, it's important to, like, obviously you can't change what you've said in the past. Like, you can't. Yeah. I think that's the main problem with cancel culture, I think, is because it takes people and what they've said in a way back time and then taking it against them now, which it's not. You can't blame somebody, or you can't judge somebody based on something they said like a decade ago. Yeah. Because we all grow as human beings, and it's just not fair to that person to hold that against them. If they've actually changed. Yeah. That's what I'm gonna say. But also I do think when you have a platform, it's important to take into consideration what you're saying and how it affects people, especially people who aren't you, if that makes sense. Well. Or people who aren't like you.
That's a valid point. But again, I have to quote another great quote from Ari Spears. He said it perfectly. Because I totally agree with you, but I agree with him on this. I'm kind of playing devil's advocate a little bit. Okay, so what he said was, because he gets a lot of, he does his podcast and he reads emails, and a lot of people are offended by his. If you don't, like, after this podcast, look up Ari Spears comedy. Okay. He's like, and I haven't seen Dave Chappelle, so I can't even, but I feel like he's worse than Dave Chappelle. He hits everything. I mean, he attacks everything, everybody. He uses slur words, but the point is he uses them in intent funny. He doesn't like those kikes. Ain't that like a Chinese slur word?
I actually have no idea.
Okay, but he was he makes fun of everybody, even his own people, even himself. and he's raw. But some of it has validity to it though. Like when he goes in on politics, when he goes on a race, like why do white people do this? Why do black people do this? Why do we get treated like this? Blah 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 blah. Why do all Asians hate each other and they're Asians? Like stuff that's funny, but it's also it could be offensive. But I feel like you said, it depends on the way you deliver it too.
It also depends on the context.
Yeah.
Because if you're just making a say a racist joke just to be racist, that's not good at all.
He doesn't. He makes a point with it. That's what I'm saying.
Like, if you're trying to maybe I don't know, help your agenda is what I'm gonna say, which is something. Not a very good that's typically a negatively connotated word, but
but what was the point I was getting at? Gosh, I don't even know the point I was getting at the point.
People shouldn't take comedy so seriously.
Cancel culture, no, okay, that's what I was getting at. You said, you should be aware. The comedian should be aware of who's in his audience, and
not necessarily a comedian, just anybody with a platform.
I feel like with a platform, but I feel like that's a perfect example. Even with a platform, comedian, YouTube, podcast, singer, rapper, whatever. Do your homework before you go to that person's live event.
Definitely.
Then you would know. Then you won't have to be like, oh, he's offensive, blah, blah, blah. Well.
Oh, that's totally true.
That's,
If you're going into something blind, say you're going to a stand-up show and you don't know anything about the comedian. Yeah. I mean, you, I guess, could be offended by, whatever they say, but you don't have to make a big deal about it. You can leave. Yeah,
exactly. Or do your homework before you go. Yeah. Don't go on this, let's cancel him. But he's been doing Dave Chappelle, Kevin Hart. And the main point I'm trying to get is Kevin Hart is honestly, he's obviously a superstar. But from the eyes of the people that have been there since he started, when I remember Bald Kev when he was doing little comedy shows at little clubs. Yeah. He's not funny anymore. And I think, that's my opinion, but a lot of people feel that way that followed him since he's beginning. But I feel like that's because of cancel culture. He doesn't talk about the topics he used to. Yeah. And now he's kind of more, what's the word? He's trying to appeal more to the cancel culture, I guess. Yeah. People that's not going to offend, but.
I just think it's important to understand where the lines are. Yeah. Because, there is a way you can,
But is there a line in comedy, though?
Well, yeah, there is. There's a line between funny and, just wrong.
Yeah. I feel you. Because maybe I haven't seen it yet. And maybe even because everything's subjective. That's the hardest part about life. Yeah. Everything.
And, despite what you say, somebody's going to be against you. Yeah. No matter what you say. If you say anything, somebody's not going to agree with you. Yeah, true. I could say the sky's blue, and somebody would be like, no, it's teal. Yeah. There's going to be somebody who doesn't agree with you, but that doesn't give you the right to, go attack them. Okay. If that makes sense.
So what's the line from a comedy standpoint?
From a comedy standpoint? Mm-hmm. In, what way?
I don't know. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think. Do I want to play this? Play an example, but I'm I don't want to take away from. Let me see if I can. Let me see. And this is the guy I was talking about. I actually have some screen records, but I don't remember which ones is which.
I don't know. I guess if just somebody can justify. I don't know. I don't think it's ever good to go out with the intentions to hurt people.
Yes, that's what I'm saying, but. If you, and I guess because I do my homework on these comedians, my goal in life, after I'm getting old, is to see if I could do stand-up. Okay. So that's why I kind of study it. So that's why I'm getting and I grew up off of this. Me and my dad, at the age of probably 10, he used to sit me down and watch comedy stand-ups. And I don't know if you know In Living Color, these little comedy sketch shows, when African Americans were just trying to make it, now we have dudes Dave Chappelle that kind of paved the way for us now. Yeah. And it's kind of easier, but hold on, I'll give you a perfect example. So tell me if this is Ari Spears, by the way. Tell me if this is how offensive you take this.
Okay. Funny thing is, you don't even realize how racist America is until after you leave. I did a show not too long ago in Edmonton, Canada. There is no racist vibe in Edmonton. Well, first of all, ain't no niggas out there, so ain't nobody be mad at. But I must have walked around that motherfucker for 4 days looking for a black person.
Oh, no, that's the wrong one. This is the wrong one. I want to do the one of Asians. Nah, because there you go.
Ari Spears avoids smoking with Asians. He just can't find his happy place with them.
Again, not that I got anything against Asian people. It's just y'all fuck up my high, man. When you smoke weed, the point is to be in a happy place. Not supposed to be thinking about traumatic shit. Every time I smoke weed with my Asian friends, I be thinking them motherfuckers are dead. Because you know when you smoke, your eyes close a little bit. And they 3/4 of the way there. That shit be confusing. I be 3 hits in. I'm like, Ching-Lee! Like, nigga, I'm up. I'm just high. So I will do like this every 5 minutes or something.
Harry
But like that,
Spears
and
avoids-
that's really not. That's why I was scared to kind of play anything else. But like, that's kind of a. That's not even his.
Like worst.
That's not his worst. That's like kind of his. If we go levels, that's like low. He can go higher. He goes higher.
I mean, I guess if you have an audience.
Yeah. I mean,
if
but
somebody likes
would you
it.
think that was offensive though?
I mean, I wouldn't call it like super offensive, but I mean, it definitely is like
A little.
getting there.
Yeah,
Like,
it was. I mean, I guess you could say there's a line like.
I think if you're talking about if you're talking about anything about a person that they can't control,
Yeah.
like that's when I'm like, okay, well, that's like
But
that's not
but
great.
You don't see it. I don't even say imperfection, but I mean, it's something to laugh at, but it's kind of true. But it has some validity to it. If you, because I've never smoked before, but I know people's eyes get low, like your body gets drowsy and stuff like that. And Asians do got like kind of slanty. Not all, but most got like slanty eyes. So I thought it was a good joke.
Genetically, yeah.
But you know, he makes a punch it back. Let's get off this topic before I get in trouble. All right. I also saw this thing. Did you see the thing in Idaho?
I don't know exactly what you're talking about. Does it have to do with a comedian?
No. This is a whole different topic.
Oh.
So
okay.
Idaho is basically. Damn it! I had to. Let me see. I'm sure. So basically, Idaho is substituting the fire squad as a way to execute people, because some states are having trouble. Yep, because some states are having they only implement it when states. It's kind of like they're treating it as a legal way to kill people, to execute people, when they can't get their hands on the what's the poison thing, the lethal injection. Yeah, so that's the moral of the story.
What? They're shooting people?
It's a fire. It's. I don't want to read the whole article.
A firing squad. So basically execution.
Yep.
No, that's wrong.
Yep.
That is incredibly inhumane.
Yep.
That's wrong.
I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to find the. Okay, I'm trying to find the part where it was like, okay, the bill stipulates that firing squads will be used only if the state cannot obtain drugs needed for lethal injections. Several states have struggled to source the drugs required for lethal injection, causing them to pause executions and triggering lawsuits from inmates who argue the injections are inhumane, which they are, obviously. Yeah. And then, I think that's it. If the bill is signed into law, Idaho will follow South Carolina, which approved the usage of firing squads in March 2022. And there are other 3 states. I think that's just of it.
It should not be legal to shoot people.
Yeah. How do you feel about the death penalty period, though?
I mean, once again, this is it's another subjective thing. Like,
I don't think this one is subjective.
You don't? You
because,
think it's completely wrong?
Okay, if we put it in like a basic term, right? If we just look at it from the main point of view, who gives who the right to kill who?
Yeah, that's very valid.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like this is no subjective, because if we and I like how they like to play this is why I don't believe in politics and the legal system and the government, because they try to swing it. Well, we have a vote and 11 people vote for it, and then I think it's with the death penalty too. I think I just reached it. I forgot if more of the story is they try to say, okay, well, one person's not going to decide if he dies. We're going to have a vote on it. And whoever outweighs the other. That's fair. That's still not fair.
No.
Because let's put y'all on the other side where that person that's the other person that's about to die, and put you on that side, you will feel the same way.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly don't really have much knowledge on like what the like.
Yeah. I'm the same.
Like statistically, like how many people are like killed. I do agree though. Like it's never right to kill anyone ever. Yeah. I mean, I think it's just as justifiable to lock somebody away. Mm-hmm. Because I mean, people could argue like that's worse than death occasionally in most circumstances, but it's never right to. I don't know. That's the firing squads though. That's horrific.
That's terrible.
That's
I mean,
horrific.
Not only are killing people by poison, now y'all trying to find another way to kill him when you can't get your hands on the poison? That is crazy.
I don't understand.
Nah, don't poison me. Just shoot me in the head until I'm like.
No, don't do either.
Like, bro.
Don't do either.
It's a cold world out here, Lainey.
I know.
I'm moving somewhere. I'm trying to see if we can touch on this third thing in 5 minutes. Oh, yeah. How you feel about gun control in this country?
Oh, my gosh. After what happened the other day.
Oh, Nashville? I'm going to talk about that in the next episode with, I don't want to spoil it. I'm going to talk about it with Caleb. Interesting thing I found out. The girl was the person that killed him was transgender. And she was she used to go to that school at one point.
The elementary school?
Yeah. So
Wasn't it a Christian elementary school?
Mm-hmm. So if you put all three together, I'm like, wait a minute.
I mean, you can make your judgments.
Yeah.
What,
like, I'm not going to justify what she did was right.
Yeah.
But that's something I've been saying about for years within the gay community and religion. And I kind of see why she did it. It's not justifiable. Again, there's no justification for killing kids or killing anybody. But I think that's the problem with our rehabilitation system, a.k.a. The legal system and the justice system. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
Why are we throwing people in jail? Why don't we have rehabilitation centers for these people to get better and figure out why they're having this trauma?
Yeah.
Because, like you said, I can have my opinion on it. And what I think what happened was she was probably gay back then. And you know how the religion, side of that plays a part. And because when I read about it, she actually transferred from that. She didn't graduate, but she went there and then transferred. So ain't no telling what went down in that school and how they treated her. And you know how religious people treat the LGBTQI community and it's bullshit. And it's just like, wow. She just think about that. She went to that school. That's an elementary school. She went to that school when she had just hit double digits, and she held on to that for so long.
Yeah.
And it couldn't stop. I guess the minds, because they said she was posting stuff on Instagram where she said, I can't make it stop, blah, 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 or whatever. So it had to be on her mind from 11 to I think she was 30 now. And it's like, damn. And that's why I try to get people to understand in the podcast I did with Chloe is you can't judge somebody because of who they are, even if you don't. And I think that's the main problem is people that don't understand what gay is. You know the quote, people are the most afraid of what they don't understand. Mm-hmm. People don't understand gayness, so they hate it or whatever. And I think that's the main thing America has to understand is people that don't like the LGBT community or what it stands for, what they do, mostly pertaining to sex. I think that's the main issue people think about is understand what it is first before you make a judgment call on it or just following everybody else. I
mean, also personally, just a philosophy I live by is you don't have a right to judge anybody ever. Because, look at yourself first.
Yeah. And then look at what this woman went through. She's probably been going through this, and of course, I can just make my own judgment. She's probably been going through this for years. This is probably depression, mental health issues now, all because of the church and other shit that other people, homophobics, have really probably bullied her into. So, I agree. I'm not telling you to accept it, but understand it before you start acting like it's a pro-life situation or something like that.
Or at least understand that you don't have the right to judge, or you don't have the right to act differently or to do anything differently to anybody based off of what they're doing.
Basically.
Which, I think you could pertain back to the whole lethal injection and, the death penalty thing. Because, as human beings, how do we have the right to decide that about another human being?
My point exactly, Lainey.
Yeah.
That's what I don't believe in. Do you believe in, the government and politics and stuff like that?
I just turned 18, first of all.
Oh, yeah, you just got the legal right.
I've just entered the world of politics and, legalism and all of everything. I definitely think there are things wrong, but I definitely think there are good aspects.
What are some good aspects?
I don't know, just in general. Organization. I'm really big on, organizational things, and I think it's... when people are left to their own demise to do whatever they want, that's when bad things happen.
Yeah, that is true.
I think it should definitely be more of a supportive thing.
Yeah, I
do things like give people right. humane rights, like deciding what to do with their bodies.
Bro, I mean, we're gonna talk about. I really don't want to spoil it for the next episode. Me and Caleb, we're gonna talk about this. In Uganda, they just passed a law. They're gonna pass a bill where, if you come out as gay, if you promote homosexuality, you can be killed or put in prison.
No.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
And then in Arkansas, they've just passed a bill where transgenders have to use the restroom that whatever's on their birth certificate, basically. So yeah, but the Uganda shit is crazy though.
Yeah, that's
Uganda shit is crazy. They were like the ambassadors for the LGBTQ. I don't know. I keep butchering that. LGBTQ
plus.
No, that's an I now. LGBTQI plus.
Okay.
Something like that now. We don't want to offend them,
Okay.
But yeah, their ambassadors say there are people there that are scared because they make up like 50%. You know that they said that because it's gonna stop the fight on AIDS as well, HIV/AIDS, because of that. But it was like there's a lot of people in that community in Uganda, and like a lot of them about to become refugees, or they're scared for their lives because they can't move, or they don't have the resources to move. So it's like,
yeah.
And then the United States got into it. They said it's grave concern to tell people what they can do with their bodies and stuff like that, and how it's going to affect them and their relationship and stuff like that between our countries. So, whew.
That was a lot. I wasn't prepared for any of that.
I know we got kind of heavy.
Warned
yeah,
me.
we can do another one until. Did you want to do a part 2? You got time for a part 2?
Right now?
Yeah. It's only 30 minutes. No. I'm gonna stop this one and then do another 30 minutes.
Maybe.
Did you just look at your? Oh, you got a real watch. Oh shit. I mean, do you have anything you want to talk about on the second?
I mean, I don't know.
Gosh, Lane, how you get excited to come on a podcast and you got nothing to talk about?
Because I don't know. I wasn't ready for that.
Yeah, I mean that was kind of heavy. I should have.
I mean, it's good. It's
fine. It's fine to have those. I just thought it was good to have those conversations, especially the Don Lemon one, because you're a woman. I didn't want to have it by myself. Yeah. And get the backlash
That's
you got.
Fair.
Yeah. And then the Idaho thing, I thought you would have, but I don't know. Okay, we'll figure it out. We're gonna close out this one though, at least.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah.
How did you like it? Was it too heavy?
I mean, I wouldn't say too heavy, but it was. I was just not prepared.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Next time I'll do more research.
Next time I'll send you the notes too. No, you didn't really have to know the background. I just want to give you the background to get your opinions.
Yeah.
Like just your true opinions.
Mm-hmm. That's valid.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed being here. Thank you.
Thank you. You opened my eyes about some of the stuff a little bit.
I'm glad.
Yeah. A little bit. Because I was totally against half of the stuff we were talking about. And I was like, oh, she had a point here. Yeah. Organization. And then it was, what did you say? It was something about everything is subjective too. I was like, you have to look at it from different points of thought. Okay.
Yeah, perspective's a lot. Yeah. Perspective's half the battle in life. Honestly.
Thank you. That's the perfect quote.
The biggest thing about like people is you have to be able to put yourself in other people's shoes, and if you can't do that, that's when you become closed-minded, and that's when nothing productive happens.
And that's half of fucking America. Thank you. This message was brought to you by. No, I'm just playing. Do you want to put your socials out there so they can know where to find you?
Well, my name's Lainey. I'm on Instagram, Lainey Pettit _4, I think.
Wait, what?
What? I said I'm on Instagram,
okay.
Lainey Pettit _4.
Okay, send that to me.
I think.
Send that to me so I can put the little thing down here
somewhere. Somewhere.
That's it? That's all your socials?
Yeah, pretty much, yes.
Okay. All right. This is the part I dread because I don't know my socials like that. Okay. TikTok. Real Talk Radio with a second O. You get TikTok. We're on TikTok.
Oh, really?
Make sure you subscribe to on YouTube.
Okay.
Instagram, real.t.radio. Twitter, RTR JayRay. Facebook is my name, JayRay. You can check us out in the morning show. It's Wake Up with JayRay and AB on Z98.7 FM.
I was there too.
You was? Oh yeah, we did that. Yeah. That was probably my best interview.
Really?
Yeah, I saved it. I'm gonna save it for my audio profile, so they're gonna know you. I think that's it. That it? Oh yeah, make sure you subscribe. Please subscribe. 100 subscriber will get something. I don't know. You might get a date with Lainey. Something. Yeah. I feel like there's something else, bro. We'll figure it out. All right.